Hi everyone, this is Paula. I am the host of the Knitting Pipeline audiocast, and occasionally I'm doing a video extra to show you what I've been talking about on the audio, and also to share my quilting and sewing projects, mostly quilting, but branch out once in a while. So in the last episode, I talked about how I have worked to correct my rowing out. Rowing out is when your knit rows and purl rows are different size. Usually it's the purl row that's larger, especially in the case of a continental knitter like myself. I find that is often the case. I tried to find an example to show you. I couldn't find a very good one. This one you might be able to see it. This is the Tea Leaves cardigan by Melissa Labar. I seldom wear it. It's really too big for me. In fact, if somebody wants it, I'll send it to you. But on this one, here's pretty obvious. See where the lines look darker? There's still a house being built next to me. I thought they were done for the day, but they're not. I'm sorry. But anyway, as you can tell, I'm outside. So see where those lines are darker there? Actually, that's because that's not the yarn. That's because the purl rows are larger. You can actually feel it if you run your hand across the fabric. So when I was at Helen Stewart's retreat in March, I learned from Elizabeth Doherty, who's Bluebee Studio. She had said that she had to correct that. I'm going to shift this just a little bit. I see there's a really huge glare. I have no idea if this will come out, but Elizabeth said that she had the same problem, that her rows were not the same. And sometimes you even see samples knit up like this, and they're photographed that way for a pattern. So she is very scientific, I guess, methodical. And so she set out to figure out what causes that. And if you go to her blog, which is bluebeestudio.com, and I will link in the show notes, she has a tutorial about it. Kind of look and see what that bird is behind me. And basically, I can't show you what to do because you have to figure it out on your own, because the thing you have to figure out is why your purl stitches are coming out different in, oh, I didn't say that very well. You need to match your purl stitches with your knit stitches. So I had to really look at the way I was making my knit stitches. And then when I looked at my purl stitches, I could tell that I was not coming off the needle in the same way. I was more, I don't know if this makes sense, probably not, but my knit stitches, the angle of the needle when it exited was more like this, and my purl stitches, it was more like this. So you can't really, someone can't tell you what to do to straighten it out. You have to look at the way that you make the knit stitches and then match your purl stitches to knit stitches. So I suggest you go to Elizabeth's video and see, and it's really worth working on because now the sun's in my eyes. I thought this might work, but it's not working real well. That's better for me, maybe not for you. But anyway, you get a pretty view behind me. You might not be able to see me very well, but that's okay. So what was I saying about that? Oh, your gauge comes out more true, and it's just your whole knitting looks better. So I highly suggest that you work on it. I'm getting a whole lot better. I'm wearing my calligraphy cardigan, and there are a couple of places on here that I can see where I have some rowing out, but for the most part, it's so much better than it ever was before. So thank you so much, Elizabeth. I don't know if she watches the video, but anyway. So calligraphy cardigan is by Hannah Fettig, and I was a little overwhelmed because I have so many things to show you. I haven't done a video podcast since the end of September before I went to Maine, right before I went to Maine. So there's so much. And I felt a little overwhelmed. And finally, I just thought, you know what, I'll do the best I can. I'll show you the most recent things and kind of work my way back. And if I don't show everything, that's no big deal, is it? You can go to my project page and So my name is, excuse me, a bug's on my glasses. I'm Prairie Piper on Ravelry, and my blog is knittingpipeline.com. So if you just put in a search engine, Knitting Pipeline, you'll find me, believe me. So a couple of things. I just finished this last week. This is Abide shawl by Kirsten Kapoor. This is one of the reasons that I'm really trying to get the camera closer to me so that you can hear me better, but I'm going to step back so you can see this and see. This is an asymmetrical shawl. There we go. It's knit in Blacker Yarns, Swan Island, Falkland. And it says it's a 4-ply, which is generally a fingering weight, but I think that actually this is more like a sport or DK. So I love this. It's from Drop Dead Easy Knits by Dale Zucker, Mary Lou Egan, and Kirsten Kapoor, which is a new book. It has 30 designs in it. I reviewed it in episode 264. Oops, sorry, bump that. 264. And seriously, I got the book and I practically cast on this immediately. I had to have it. I had to make it. So I really am crazy about it. The yarn is beautiful. It's just a little too warm for me to wear this today, believe it or not. It is November 4th, I think. 3rd or 4th. Yeah, 3rd or 4th. There are bugs out here too. And it's like 66 degrees. It's crazy. We're having... Yeah, I'm not complaining really, but it is kind of weird to be having such warm weather in November. Although our Novembers can be this way, or we don't usually have snow until the beginning of December. So, Drop Dead Easy Knits, and I highly recommend it. As I said, I think 30 designs in there, and there are some other designers that have contributed. Susan B. Anderson has a really cute bunny in a bear in a bunny suit. And then, let's see. Oh, I can't remember, but there are so many. And if you want to hear the full review, you can go to the audio podcast. But this one is Abide. And if you want to get this yarn, Claire of New Hampshire Knits now carries it in the U.S., so you don't have to pay the overseas shipping for that. So that's a real bonus for us Americans now. And then at the Knitting Pipeline Eagle Crest Retreat, Amy Dachin was our workshop leader. Sorry, bug on me. And she taught brioche, her beginning brioche. So I was kind of pulled kicking and screaming into the brioche camp. Sorry. And I just grabbed some yarn that is seriously about 20 years old. It was left over from a mitten kit that I got from Lucy Neatbeat. And this is 2-color brioche. So I had a cream, and then looks better. A cream, and then this variegated, which is red, green, yellow, purple, blue, orange. It's got the colors of the rainbow on it. So this is the cowl that I made, and pretty much hooked on brioche now. So you'll probably be seeing more of it. It's fun to learn. It's so different. And it has some different properties. It's very stretchy, and then it's also reversible, though not reversible in the sense that it's identical, but the reverse side, the color that was dominant on the front side is now non-dominant and reversed on the other. If you look on the reverse side, which is the one where the white shows, I made some mistakes, but I looked at this as a learning thing, a learning experiment, and I was not going to worry if it wasn't perfect. But fortunately, Amy got me out of a few tricky situations. She's a real good troubleshooter, especially with brioche. And so it is usable. It was real scratchy when I finished it. And I'm going to have to get out the sun just a minute. We'll try this. You get a new view. You get a new view now. It's a little buggy too, but I couldn't stand to be inside right now. So, okay, where to go? So anyway, after I washed it, it really felt a whole lot better. And there it is, brioche cowl. It's called Chromatic Cowl by Amy Dachin. So if you're interested and you're able to come to the Knitting Pipeline retreat in February, Amy is going to be teaching the workshop, not at, well, the day before the retreat. We're going to try this angle. That's all I look like, the Phantom of the Opera here with my face. Oh, I can't get it. I guess a cloudy day would work okay, but this way you get to see the birds. Anyway, as I said, Amy will be teaching the workshop. I've already finished another cowl, but I have the ends to weave in, and it's really fun. So I'm excited to learn a new technique, and I'm having a ball with it. Here's another shawl that I finished some time ago. I actually knit this mostly right before and during the main retreat. This is by Joji Locatelli. It's a very large crescent shawl. I think the wingspan is about 75, 80 inches. It's taller than I am for sure. Yeah. So it's in the collection called Sight is Life, which is a fundraiser to help restore sight for people in, I believe, the Congo. And I used wool that I had purchased at Rhinebeck last year, 2015, and really like this shawl. Wool is an organic wool. Let's see, I do better if I just don't look at the screen there. So, but it is really nice. Feels good, and I enjoyed knitting it. One of these days I'll get this down. I won't be outside that much longer, don't worry about it. I forgot to say that the Abide shawl by Kirsten Kapoor, that when I use the Blacker yarns, I use the 4-ply, which usually 4-ply means fingering weight in the UK, but I felt like this was more of a sport or even a DK. But it says 28 stitches to 4 inches, so I don't know. Anyway, I used over 100 grams, well over 100 grams. I think I used 120. I haven't weighed this yet, but this is all that's left of it. So if you do make the Abide shawl, then it has an applied border, so you don't want to run short on that. One of the leaf things is knit as you go, and then the bind off is in the applied leaf border. Okay, and then another thing that I wanted to tell you about is a giveaway that I announced yesterday on the audio podcast, and I will leave this open for as long as I can before the next audio comes out. And we've already had quite a few entries, and it's really a generous giveaway by these sponsors who gave me free things. First of all, we have let me gather up everything here. We have a beautiful project bag. Let's see if I can get it. There we go. By Prairie Bag Works. See, there's sheep on there. It's pretty good size. It's actually bigger than you'd need for a sock project, but it's kind of a medium one. And it has a zipper pull and the bottom of the bag. Bottom of the bag is flat. There's a handle on it, and then up on the other side there's a pull. One of the features that I just love about Sue's bags is that on the inside of the bag, she has a twill tape measure sewn on, usually about 10 inches. A few of the bags, the styles that she has, it's not suitable, like the boxes and the smaller ones. But for most of the bags, she does put this in, and I find it just very, very useful. And then there are interior pockets, a large pocket and a small pocket. There's a hook, a ring with 2 charms on it. 3 charms on it, sorry, I didn't see the other one. There's a sheep and a heart and a beaded charm and some tags that you can attach to your gift knitting. And what other features? Oh, there's a little zipper or a progress keeper on the zipper pull. You can't really see it, but believe me, it says I love or I heart knitting, and there's a little knitting there with needles. So this is Prairie Bag Works, and Sue's bags are just amazing. Go to her shop. This bag retails for $25 US, so it's a great bargain, and Sue does beautiful work, so I highly recommend it. So she gave that, and then Nicole of Hue Loco, which I'm sure many of you are familiar with Nicole, gave a skein. She actually gave me 3 skeins, and I picked this one out for you, and then I'm hopefully going to knit with the other ones. There we are. Hue Loco, whoops. And this is her Phyllis sock. It is merino nylon 80/20 fingering weight, and the colorway is Frost. And I think you can see it pretty well. It's showing up pretty well there. It's a light, the very palest of blue background, and then purple, pink, green, blue. Gorgeous. And thank you very much, Nicole and Sue, if I didn't say that. And then sock ruler. This is from sockruler.com. There are 3 sizes. This is a wonderful tool. Now that I have this tool, I always have it in my sock knitting bag. And this is the adult size, the children's size, and the infant size. This is a plastic piece. It's pretty sturdy. And you insert it into the sock cuff. When you're knitting the cuff, you can measure it that way. You can insert it from the toe once you get past the heel if you're going cuff down, but it also works for toe up. And I like it because it's much more accurate than just using a tape measure. So maybe later in the podcast, I'll bring out the sock that I'm knitting and I'll show you how this is used. I'm not sure what the retail is. I think it's around $10, and this was a donation from sockruler.com. I don't believe it comes in a packet with all 3. I think they're sold separately, but maybe she does have that now. At the time that I got it. Yeah, so you can find those at sockruler.com, and many of the online shops or local shops probably carry it as well. And the other item in the package are stitch markers from the Snarky Llama. Is her name on Ravelry, and then she is Slap Your Llama on Etsy. And that's her little case. And then her stitch markers are super lightweight. Well, if I can get the case open, hang on a sec, there we go. They're very lightweight, and these say keep calm and carry yarn. And she gave me this set at the Georgia retreat and said that I could give it away. So I put together this little sock package that has the bag from Prairie Bag Works from Sue. She's Sue Wilkins on Ravelry. The yarn from Hue Loco. The stitch markers, and the sock rulers. So that's pretty exciting, and there is a separate thread in the Ravelry group that says Socktacular giveaway. So don't leave your comment in the episode thread, leave it in the giveaway thread. And I'll leave it open as long as I can up until when the next audio episode is. And I don't have a prompt for it. You can say whatever you want for it. And people have been leaving some really nice comments. I also had a surprise giveaway in the last audio episode, which just came out, I think it was yesterday. Don't you love the sound of saws in the background? Oh, goodness. This house, I know I've complained about it before, but it's been under construction for a year and a half. And so, yeah, I think the people that are wanting to move in have kind of actually a very nice guy. He's very considerate. He can't help it when he's making noise, and he's kept a very clean work site, so I can't complain too much. But this was given to me at Rhinebeck, and she told me I could give it away on the show. And sorry to say, I don't know exactly what her name is. It is either, okay, these two cards were in here. It's either HudsonValleyKnits.com, who's Amy Lamash, or it is Cappy something from Michigan, CappyKnits.com, who is the Yarn and I podcast. So whichever one of you gave me this, please let me know. It is a beautiful felted notions pouch. Might have a little needle felting on there. And I drew a name in the Socktacular, or the Socktober thread. It was kind of a random surprise drawing, and that went to B-Wing, but she hasn't heard it on the podcast yet. But what I do generally is I give people a week or so, and then if I don't hear from them, then I'll contact them, because you can't always get to it. Let's be honest here. Okay, well, this has gone well, don't you think? Let's see what else I can think to say while I'm out here. Oops, stink bug. I hate those things. Yeah, it's very buggy out here because of the warm weather, but yeah, we're enjoying it while it lasts, and it's actually quite nice out here. It's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I forgot to turn off my mail or shut down my mail, so that was what that was. So I take it you have seen some birds out here. We actually don't have any seed in our platform feeder right now because at the end of the summer we like to try to get rid of chipmunks by taking away the food. And actually, we probably should start feeding them again. But we have the thistle feeder, which is the one that you see right up there. There, I was right in the beginning. I can't do it when I look. But that's for the goldfinches, and I've seen some of those coming up there, and I'm hearing a chickadee in the background. And I think the bugs are beginning to get to me now, so the rest of this might be done inside. We'll see, and maybe we'll have a cloudy day. That would be perfect, wouldn't it? So I'll be back. Okay, well, the sun is setting now, so we have a little bit less glare, and I'm going to show you a couple more things. And I think probably the rest of this will be inside. I just heard a barred owl a few minutes ago, so maybe we'll hear it again, because they're certainly out and about this time of year. Okay, before the light fades, I want to show you how the sock ruler works, and then one other tool that I really like for sock knitting. Okay, here's my current sock project. Well, I guess you can see a little better. There it is. This is yarn that was given to me by Maureen, and it is Destinations yarn, and the color is Copenhagen, so she thought of me. And I have both cuffs knit up this far. So the sock ruler that I showed you earlier, I like to put a piece of tape on it for whatever size I'm knitting. And this is a man's, boy, if I lose a DPN on this deck, I'm probably never going to get it back. This is a man's size. So if you know the shoe size, this is also a very useful tool, Sock It To Me. It has all the women's sizes, men's sizes, and foot length. So if you know the shoe size with this, then you can determine how long to make the foot and such. So that's a useful tool. Then I put a piece of tape on there. I can see it's kind of dark, isn't it? But see how it goes. And then you can just insert your cuff in there, and I can see exactly how long that cuff is there. And then, as I said before, you can insert it the other way for the toe. And it really is very useful when you already have the heel in there, because you can insert it all the way into the back of the heel and then see how long the foot is. So I use this all the time. I also found I'm knitting a little sweater for my granddaughter, and it's a size like 18 months. So it was very useful for the sleeves on that sweater because a child's sleeve is about the size of a sock. Sorry, I'm trying to adjust so we get just a tad more light. And then I have the DPN holders that are nice. This one I think I got from Make This From That. And then I have one, I just saw my Java Jenny one. Oh, here's another thing that people have asked me about. These are yarn cozies. I learned about these from Barb and Tracy, the two knitlet chicks. And you can actually make your own from like a pair of trouser socks and then just knot it at the bottom. But they're made by Buffy Ann Designs. I think she's on a bit of a hiatus now. I don't know if she's had some health issues, but there's something a little bit cryptic on her website. But I know I ordered them from Knit Picks as well, and they're kind of handy to keep your yarn. If you're doing a center pull skein, they keep the end from getting mixed up with the other yarn. So that's yarn. They're called Yarn Cozies by Buffy Ann Designs. One more shawl to show you. I have it hanging from the umbrella there. This is Quill, which is, somehow I got to figure out where the light sensor is on this thing. Here we go. I'll step back so you can see it. This is, oh, that doesn't work at all. There we go, maybe. This is the 4th shawl in Helen Stewart's The Shawl Society. And the shawl, mine is different because the shawl had 3 colors and I was knitting from stash. This is Barocco Vintage DK, so it can be thrown in a washing machine and probably be a charity donation. Let's see. There you go. See better there. So if you see it, I mean, go look at Helen's for what it's really supposed to look like, although bugs. I gotta get closer so you can hear me. I know the last episode, oh, that helps the light too. Isn't that amazing? Okay, well, I'm kind of sitting forward on my chair. That's fine. The last episode, I realized even though I amplified the sound, it still was kind of weak on my iPad. And it's really weird because it'll sound great on the MacBook and then it goes through whatever they do to get it up on YouTube, and then it's up on YouTube and it's fine on the Mac, but on my iPad, and I know some other people had problems hearing the sound. So hopefully if I just sit a little closer, which is weird for me, but I'll do it because it's hard to keep your voice amplified. I've learned that your voice is your voice. It's very difficult to change the way you speak. If you're not a loud talker, then it's very difficult to just project for a long period of time. And I can try, but then I fall back into my normal routines. Okay, so this is Barocco Vintage DK. It's called Quill. I don't think I said that. And it is the 4th shawl in the Shawl Society, which is now the 6th one is out. And I didn't do the 5th one, which was called Aurora. And then, oh, I can't remember the 6th one. It's a bulky, and I have something I might use for that. We'll see. We'll see. It might happen yet. And Helen is also, every year she does Knitvent, which is like an advent calendar, but with knitting. So every week you get a new design, and you can sign up for that right now. And I can't wait to see what she has lined up for that. She has a guest designer, Renee Callahan, who is East London Knits, and then Helen's own designs. And these are meant to be quick knits that you could do in a week and then start the next one when it comes out. So I'm always excited to see what she has there. Okay, that I think is all I have to show you right now. And well, I'll have more because I have been to Rhinebeck, of course. Well, not of course, but I went to the main retreat. I came home. I went to Rhinebeck. I came home. I went to the Eagle Crest retreat, and all of this in about a 4.5, 5 week period. So I have acquired things at all these places, and I'll be showing those to you too, but it'll probably be inside. So we'll take a break now. Before I packed up my computer to take it inside. guess that's a dog. Oh, it must be. It sounded really strange. And there's a squirrel running there. Squirrels sound like elephants when they're running through the woods. They always make way more noise than their size would indicate possible. So they're very tricky animals, but it is really pretty though. I'll see if I can get you up to see. Gotta keep the camera steady here. I just wanted to add something in about the rowing out that I said earlier in this episode. I looked back on it and I thought the main point, I think, was a little bit obscured in all my verbiage. But the main thing to remember is that you want to match the way the stitches are exiting the needle. So watch the way, the angle, and however you make your knit stitch, then copy that when you do your purl stitch, and it is the way the stitch exits the needle. I used to always try to correct that by knitting tighter or just various different techniques, and I suppose you could match your knit to your purl stitch if you like your purl better, but in my case my knit stitch is tighter, and so when I started replicating the way it exited the needle, that's what is key. And I still will slip back into my old habits occasionally, but I'm finding that more and more it is natural and seems right to do it the way I'm doing it. So I just wanted to add that in. Hello, I am going to finish on the knitting today here in the house. It is about, let's see, I think I recorded last Thursday. And it's now Tuesday, November 8th. And yes, I did vote. I did 7 a.m. this morning, or 6:30, something like that. So a couple more things I wanted to show to you so I can actually put them away. I leave everything in a bin until I've talked about it on both the audio and the video. So in Maine, my friend Angie gave me some Knit Circus yarn. She is in their sock club, or their monthly club, and she gave me some beautiful skeins that I used to knit my very first pair of Smooth Operator socks by Susan B. Anderson. We'll look at them both up here just so you know I have them both. There they are. There it is. This is a top-down sock pattern. There we go. This is a top-down sock pattern with an afterthought heel. There's some tips and tricks in it, and I thoroughly enjoyed knitting it. In fact, I'm now on my third pair of Smooth Operator socks, and I've always been a dedicated heel gusset gal, but maybe not anymore, because certainly when you have yarn that is a gradient or self-striping, it is really nice. And what I did here was that I took the yarn from the other end of the gradient in the Knit Circus yarns. I think this is their Greatest of Ease, I believe, Greatest of Ease gradient, and did the heel. So I really like these. These are for me, and I mean, knitting with Knit Circus yarns is such a pleasure. It really is a great experience. Every single row is different on each sock, but they do match. You might note that, how closely these, and I didn't do anything special at all, but there they are. And then I launched into another pair when I went to Rhinebeck, and this is Into the World. It was my first time knitting Into the World, and this is a Blueface Leicester BFL. Don't believe there's any nylon in it. And as you can see, you might notice that the heels are the same as they were on the other pair, because when I was knitting this, I thought it looked, and it actually looks, it's pretty true in there, but it kind of reminded me of watermelon. So when I got down to the heel, I was trying to think what color I'd want to use, if I just want to use the same yarn, and I decided to use what was left, some of it. I still have some, but you can see the heels are pretty much the same, and I just love it, the heels and the toes in this Knit Circus in with the Into the World. This is the Into the World palindrome, and I bought it at Rhinebeck last year. So when I was going to Rhinebeck this year, I thought I wanted to try to use up what I purchased. And I have used all the Into the World now, but I still have some other things that I have not used, so I didn't buy too much at Rhinebeck. And let's see, is that, I think that's all of the, oh, what I'm wearing here at the Knitting Pipeline Main Retreat, Karen of Seven Sisters Arts did another indigo dye workshop, because a lot of us that had done it before, we just really enjoyed it, but we thought the second time around we would know more what we wanted to do. And I did 2 scarves. This is one. I didn't spend a lot of time preparing this, but indigo dyeing is so much fun, and we all had a ball doing it. The first day, and I think in the first day it was raining. We had to do a shift of schedule a little bit. I don't remember how we did that exactly, but it worked out fine because we had to do this outside, and it was beautiful weather there. So I have 2 of these, and they're going to go, I have one for myself from last year, and they look so similar. So this one and the other one are going to be gifts. And then, let's see, a couple of acquisitions. I wanted to show you the Knitting Pipeline 2016 Main Retreat badge that Gail, who is Cottontail on Ravelry, she makes these. You can have her, the one that says I'm Prairie Piper on Ravelry and has some bagpipes on it, that is actually on my bag. And so I didn't leave it here with my main memorabilia, but she does beautiful work, and anything you want, basically, she can do. So contact her on Ravelry. She's Cottontail. Here's her, well, I don't know if I should show this. It has a lot of stuff on it. She is nocturnalknitter.blogspot.com, or on Etsy. She's Nocturnal Knitter, but the best way to contact her is on Ravelry. She's Cottontail, and I think that's also her Instagram name. Or you can PM me, and I'll get you in touch with her. And then she also made these for the Knitting Pipeline Eagle Crest Retreat. This was not something that was included. It's an extra that Gail did, and Julie Fitzknit 721 gifted them to a number of us. So it was really sweet. Thank you so much to both of you. And this one has a little feather or wing. It's a wing charm. And my piping one has a little Celtic charm on it, the one that says I'm Prairie Piper on Ravelry. So those are fun to have to put on your bags. All right, so, oh, something I don't actually have to show, but I talked about the hat in Journey. It's called Swift, that I made for my daughter-in-law, and then I made one for my little granddaughter, and here's the hat. It's in the book. I'm getting better at this. It's in the book Journey by, it's called A Collaboration, Jane Richmond and Shannon Cook. And they just came out with their new book called Within that I'll be reviewing on the audio and probably knitting something out of it very soon. And I've also, before I started doing the video cast, I also knit the spate mittens. Maybe I'll show those, or fingerless mitts. Maybe I'll show those next time. So I'll insert some photos of my granddaughter wearing the hat so you can see that. And I use Quince & Company Chickadee in the, I'm not sure whether it's clay or sedum. I thought it was sedum, but it might be clay. I don't know for sure. It's about 4 o'clock and we've already switched off of daylight savings time, so the light's fading fast, but we'll do what we can. It was a little too chilly for me to sit outside today. So this is some yarn that was given to me in Maine, and it's Lorna's Laces, in the Texas Wildflowers colorway. Thank you, Kathy. That might be my next pair of socks. I'm not sure. Let's see if it's an MCM. Now it's 80% superwash merino, and this is a limited edition colorway. So that was really, really pretty. It kind of goes with what I have on here. And then I wanted to show you a beautiful colorway that Karen of Seven Sisters Arts came up with. Isn't that, it's just stunning. It's called Sugar Maple. And I'm hoping to come up with something fun to do with that and this yarn that looks so good with it. Maybe a two-color shawl or something like that. And the second color, and this is the Matrika base, the second color is called Mead. And I think they just look so pretty together. And this is a silk and merino blend. And I am crazy about that base. See, I'm looking at my notes here. Just a couple more things. Like I said, I didn't go crazy at Rhinebeck. In fact, one of the things I've already started, actually, yeah, one of the yarns I already knitted up. I might show it to you, we'll see. And this is the program from the New York Sheep and Wool Festival 2016. I had a great time. So the second day I went to Miss Babs and got a skein of Yowza. I think this, I don't know, this might be a sweater for my granddaughter. I know it doesn't look like a child's color, but I do love gray, and it's slate is what it is. And it's a light worsted, so we'll see. I don't know, but I just really liked it. And there was hardly any line at all the second day. So if you go to Rhinebeck, I know you've probably heard that the Miss Babs line was really long, and it was. But we went back on Sunday, and it was a little crowded in the booth, but the line was not long at all. I went to my new friend Pat at the Mount Rutson Studio and Raisin Cane, or what her business is. She actually is based in Rhinebeck, and so nice the way she packaged up the yarn. Instead of a plastic bag, I got this little organza bag, and it has a little tag on it, a little wooden tag with her name, like a charm, on there. And I got this fingering weight. It is Madison is the base. There's 400 yards, 100 grams, and the color is steel blue. Mount Rutson Studio, maybe it's Rutson Studio, Rhinebeck, New York. So I just love that deep blue. The colors are showing up great considering the light is, I'm gonna have to hurry along here. And then I was attracted to this. I actually thought maybe I would put it with this. I don't know if the weights will work out that way, but it could be color work in a little sweater or something like that. And this is Max, which is a DK, and it's called Mistakes Happen. I don't think that's a mistake, do you? So it's blues and greens and kind of a lime green, mostly blue with lime green in it. So I thought that was really pretty. It's a single. And I think that about wraps up the knitting. Oh, there's one more thing. I wanted to show you another bag by Prairie Bag Works that Sue gave me. There it is, because I love butterflies. And these are moths, actually, but yeah, they're closely related. They're cousins. So Sue's bags are just great. And this one is a large one. I don't know if she calls this a medium size. I think it's a large size. It has to be a large size because look. And it has a flat bottom. And then as I showed you on the other one, it has the measuring on the inside. It has 2 pockets and stitch markers here. I didn't even look at those. There's a sheep, a little charm, 2 little charms, and then her cool tags that you can put on there. And what I have in here are the Quince & Company Phoebe, which is relatively new, and it's kind of a kettle-dyed tonal, so I don't know if you can tell here. Yeah, I think you can. This is what I started my, oh, I can't think of the name of it. Maybe it's a, well, anyway, I started my sweater and it was too small. So I haven't really taken it out yet, but I went ahead and started a new sweater. And this time I'm knitting Lush by Tin Can Knits. And as I wound the yarn, I decided that it looked really good with my new bag from Sue. So gray and gray, yeah. So that's really fun. And if you're familiar with Lush, there's a lace yoke that you knit lengthwise and then turn it. And then you pick up to knit the neck and down. So I hope it fits. I've had 2 bombs in a row. So yeah, that's not too fun when you're knitting sweaters. But this bag has a nice drawstring and love it. It's really fun. Thanks so much, Sue. It's a great, great bag. So I have one more thing I think I'll show because I believe I'll be sending it off to my granddaughter before the next video episode. So I'm going to go ahead and show you now. Hang on just a sec. It's just right here. I don't know if you're familiar with, if you've been knitting since the 70s or 80s as I have, you might be familiar with the Wonderful Wallaby. And it's a kind of a classic pattern. It's a sweatshirt, knitted sweatshirt. And I did this one. Let's see if I can get, there we go. And it has a hood. I did the garter stitch hood and I did not shape the hood. My daughter-in-law requested a sweater with a pointy hood. So pixie hood is what she called it. So there is some shaping in the hood, but I chose to leave the shaping out so that it would be kind of pointy. And yeah, this yarn is from Briar Rose. And that is, I purchased that at Rhinebeck too. So of my Rhinebeck purchases, I've already used this one. And I really only had 2 others, or 3 maybe. Yeah, I have some other things, but they aren't wool knitted. So there you go. This is by Carol Anderson, and she's just re-released the book, and I'll talk a little bit more about it on the audio, but it is based on the Elizabeth Zimmermann percentage system. So if you've knitted Elizabeth Zimmermann sweaters from Knitting Without Tears or Knitter's Almanac, as I was sort of cut my knitting teeth on, I guess, and this is based on the same thing. So it's a bottom up and sleeve up, and then you join them all together. And it's very clever the way she does the pouch, although I have to say I kind of like the original pattern a little bit better, but it had ties, and ties are not recommended for toddlers any longer. So now there's a placket and a button or 2. I just put 1 button on. It's a wooden button, and it was fun to knit. And we'll say that I washed the yarn and threw some vinegar in the water, and it still was, the water was pretty red, so I don't know whether I'm going to wash it again and try to set the, I mean, it's red, and red does have a tendency to bleed, but, I mean, I was expecting it to, quite honestly. But anyway, that's the Wonderful Wallaby, and I knit a size, well, I knitted 2 and scaled it down a little bit because my granddaughter is still wearing a size 1. She's she's like my side of the family, and so I didn't want it to just be way too big on her because, yeah, I'll knit her another one if she outgrows this. So I'm pretty sure it'll fit, and yeah, so that is the Wonderful Wallaby by Carol Anderson. I don't think you can buy that pattern online. It's only available in pamphlets through her or yarn shops. Okay, well, I think I've talked about all my knitting here, and then maybe tomorrow when there's more light, I will get the cross stitch. I only have my 1 thing, and quilting out, and I have a finished quilt to share. So the quilting will be starting here. I decided that the video is long enough, so anything that I had left over, my quilting and cross stitch, I'm just going to save till the next video. There isn't all that much well, there's a finished quilt. That's kind of a lot. But anyway, in the meanwhile, you can write to me on Ravelry. I am Prairie Piper there. I have a blog called knittingpipeline.com. There are show notes there. The show notes for the video are not really extensive because everything has already been talked about for the most part in the audio episodes. I hope you have a wonderful time and hold your knitting close.